I got a message the other day about my opposition to Patriarch Kirill and why I think he's a heretic. I was told I was wrong. Of course, I absolutely insist I am right. The heresy that Patriarch Kirill espouses is called Phyletism, and it's sometimes described as nationalism or ethno-Phyletism, from the Greek ethnos, nation, and philetismos, tribalism. And you only have to listen to the way he speaks, the size of his cufflinks, and the enormity of his guard as he drives down the road, and the road is closed off. He's got more cars, a bigger convoy than even Putin. I can remember when I was in Moscow, how on many occasions my own car was stopped to allow for the passage of Patriarch Kirill, and it was very frustrating. Now, the first time this word was used was in a synod in Constantinople, in Istanbul, in 1872, and it was particularly used to condemn the heretical teaching of the Bulgarians and the establishment of a national church in Bulgaria. Nothing wrong with a national church. What is wrong is the establishment of nationalism over the idea of unity. And that is precisely what Kirill is doing. Kirill is establishing the idea of Russian nationalism over any form of orthodoxy that doesn't champion his particular brand, over the Ukrainian Orthodox. And the Ukrainians are at a pain to distance themselves from Russia, from the Moscow Patriarchate, and they're quite right to do so. You know, when you come down to the religious foundation of Christianity, the religious foundation of the textual foundation of Christianity. My kingship is not of this world. If my kingship were of this world, my servants would fight, that I might not be handed over. But my kingship is not of this world. John 18:36, I think. And the devil took Jesus up and showed him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time and said to him, "To you I will give all this authority, all this glory, for it has been delivered to me, and I give it to whom I will. If you then will worship me, it shall all be yours." And Jesus answered, "It is written, you shall serve the Lord your God, and him and only you shall serve," in Luke chapter 4. It could not be any clearer. The kingship of this world, the division of this world into nations, is evil, is wrong. Christianity, Judaism, Islam is about the spreading of peace, is about the spreading of unity, is about the union of peoples beyond nations. Put your sword back in its place, for all who take the sword shall perish by the sword. Do you think I cannot appeal to my Father, and he will at once send me 12 legions of angels in Matthew? Philippians, their end is destruction, their God is the belly, and they glory in their shame, with minds set on earthly things. So look at the belly of Patriarch Kirill, expanding with insolence by the day. And the same could have been said of somebody I what should we say, crossed swords with years ago, Archbishop Christodulus, another man with cufflinks the size of bangles. Again, another abhorrent person, but nilnis tibi bonum. But this person, I went to him to appeal for his help. My partner, who is Turkish, was being persecuted and had been tortured and badly treated by the Greek Coast Guard. And I went to Christodulus to ask for his help. And He was very cryptic in his response, and that evening he went into a church, and on public television he said, "O ye Turki ni varvari," all Turks are barbarians. That was his answer. It oddly made international news, and the source of that story was never really identified. The source of that story was my appeal, I believe, for his support for my partner against the tyranny of the Greek Coast Guard. Tyranny cannot win, and whether it gets endorsed or not endorsed by the current sitting patriarch or bishop doesn't matter. They are wrong. It is not their job to support evil. It is not their job to defend wrongdoing. It is their job to support the good. And to, you go back to Mark, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. There is a difference between Caesar and God and what belongs to each. God and a worldly emperor are not the same things. The worldly emperor may represent God, but he is not God. No servant can serve two masters. Luke 16:13. They either love the one and hate the other, or else will be loyal to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. So look at the size of the cufflinks before you make a decision. I know it sounds like a joke, but it's true. The letter to Diogenetus is also there. We live in countries as aliens. We participate in everything as citizens and enjoy everything as foreigners. Every foreign country is our fatherland, and every fatherland is foreign. We live on earth, but our citizenship is in heaven. And if the prelates of the church, if the leaders of our religious communities forget that their jurisdiction is from heaven, and if they think it's in earth, they are wrong, wrong, wrong. We need people who guide us religiously to look beyond the current nations, to look beyond the current strife. We need people who are who are even of religions who are not ours, who do not share our belief. We need people who have no belief, to look beyond the current politics, to see a vision of unity. And that lesson is something that should be embraced in Northern Ireland. We are quickly descending into chaos again through the tyranny of ideology. We need to look beyond the ideology, and we need to look towards the hope of the future. And that is why Kirill is wrong. And that is why Kirill, along with Putin, both need to go. Both need to go. And when we look at the two swords in the Bible, look, Lord, here are two swords. And he said to them, it's enough. It's enough. Does that mean that those swords are sufficient? No, it is enough. Forget it. Forget about the guns, the arms, the modern weaponry. Love, unity, comradeship, even with enemies. This is the only way forward. It's enough.